Hello everybody, good evening from England. There are people who are messaging me and they're sounding like robots or scammers, and I would say a good third look like come across in the way they act like scammers or robots. So I'm not going to engage with people once they start to look like robots. I am sorry. I might give you one more chance, but if you talk to me as if you're a robot, like you're not following the conversation, there's something up. And if you're using someone else's account, clearly, because you're sending me a photograph, which I never asked for, I mean, in the nicest possible way. I'm not here. I'm not here to. There's not. People are sending me photographs, and I'm not here for that, right? I'm saying, oh, here's a photo of myself, and it's like, then it's like, you can see that their account is a different. Like, they've got a female account, and there's the male photograph. Do you know what I'm saying? It's clearly a different person. I mean, even if it was a different person, but the same gender, whatever, it's like you're using someone else's account. Anything funny like that, anything funny at all, like if you're not following the conversation, if you if you don't act normally like a normal, polite, respectful human being, okay, like it's intrusive enough, the fact that you're in my inbox out of the blue. I'm gonna be honest, it is that way. But I felt from God, from the Holy Spirit, try and get through messages best I can. But what I'm going to have to do is get through them and I've got to be strong and ruthless with some of the messages that are coming. You know, and I think to myself sometimes, which messages shall I answer and which not? And I feel like God is telling me that my instinct is right, my feeling, my intuition is right. So I'm sorry that some people get upset with me sometimes. I'm sorry, but I'm being as polite and as nice as I can. Right, I've got a lot of messages coming to me, and some people just act in a way that, like I say, looks like a robot or a scammer. You're not making sense. There are people who make not much more sense, or about as much sense, as the robots online. You know, you can talk to someone online. I for fun have talked to robots online for fun. There's a robots, like I've done it with kids and that, with children. Like we've had a laugh. Look at robot, you know, and you are a third of the messages that come to me is like when I try to have a conversation with someone, and you sound just like the robots, honestly, because you can't do a conversation, right? Now, if people are interested in dating, I'm not trying to date. I really am not trying to date. So, put it this way: if I am, maybe keep my eye open a little bit, maybe, right? But if I am, it's like I'm not going to do it in that way. I'm not going to talk to people on Instagram in messages after putting out a video. That's not how I would do it. It's like, that's just weird. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I seem rude. I'm sorry if I seem rude. It's just weird. Like there's a guy I've been interested in, kind of on and off with, who has great communication skills, right? We can hold a conversation, and because of that, that's one of the things I really like about him. I'm not trying to be horrible or rude to anyone, but everyone has their preferences, and if someone if they sound like a robot and can't even hold a basic, you struggle to have a basic conversation, like they're not listening to what I'm saying, they make it as much sense as these robots, pretty much. Maybe a little bit better, but not much different. I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just being honest, I'm sorry. If that's how you are, like, I would choose a guy who has good communication skills. That's just me. That's me. That's my preference, all right? I'm just being honest. And the guy that I'm on and off with, there's huge problems. But he's a communicator, all right? Even then, I'd say there's some room for improvement. Me and him both need to learn to communicate better. I think a lot of people in relationships could learn to communicate better. But he does have a certain level to begin with that I can think, this is someone I can see myself, you know, there's potential there for a future with this person, potentially, even though there's huge problems. Because he can communicate to some level. I still think me and him both could learn to do better. I think everyone could learn to do better. Like psychologists say, one of the most important things for relationships, you know, the most important thing as a romantic partner is communication skills. If someone immediately is, like, you have problems from the get-go, like the basic level communication, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I think you're probably a scammer or a robot. And I don't know how these things exactly work. I don't know how robots work. People often talk about bots. I don't understand about bots, how they operate, but please just, well, not please, just, like, you show who you are, and that's great. You show there's something not right from the get-go, and that's great, because you're making it easier for me to sift through. I'm not trying to be horrible. I'm sorry if I seem horrible, but I've got so many messages. I'm sorry. I do apologise right now if I'm being I don't think I am though. I don't think I am. Like, I need to err on the side of being brutal because I think God's given me this grace, as in I'm allowed to be brutal because I have to be brutal. I have to be. But God is also, but He's also telling me, I think, to answer some. Don't completely shut everybody out. Like, don't just not answer messages. Right. This is one of the longest messages I've made in a very long time. One of the longest messages I've ever made. Didn't plan to go this long. Wow. But yeah, that's it. That's this message. Okay, there may be more messages for today because this is a little bit of an off color in inverted commas. Sorry about it. Message. But that's for today. Unless I feel God put anything else in my heart, I felt to put this out. I'm trying to get through messages as best as I can. I am. I genuinely am. And